Have you picked up the theme for today yet? No? Let's see. There's a theme running through all the thread that runs through all the readings, right? It even actually begins with the collect today. Our Son, Jesus Christ, the good shepherd of your people, and then on to the reading from the apostles, which adds the theme of power. By whose power or name did you do this? The name of Christ. And then the Psalm 23, one which you may or may not have heard before. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. Though I walk, yea, I was going to put a yea in there. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death. And then on to the second reading. We know that he laid down his life for us and gave us the commandment. And then on to this great reading from John, where Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The good shepherd doesn't run away like a hired hand when he sees the wolf coming. The wolves are coming. There's no question about that. But Jesus will not run away. Why? Because he's the good shepherd. He stays and protects us through his name, his power, and his presence. So, there's this great theme of sheep. But I don't want to talk about sheep. I don't know the first thing about sheep, to be honest with you. I barely know what they look like, right? I don't even like to eat lamb. I don't like any of it. So I won't talk about it. I want to talk about dogs. Okay? I know about dogs. Right? You went to the wrong place with that metaphor. I do not like to eat them. But I love them. I'm a dog owner my whole life. Anybody else here? My whole life, dogs. No, cats work the same way. I just happen to be allergic to cats, so I can't use that as my example today. And horses, we're in a horse community, they would also work, I think. But for me, I've loved dogs my whole life. I remember the first dog I can remember as a child having in our family. I was coming out of, I think it was kindergarten, and I went to the car where my mom was waiting, and she had in our little car in the front seat where I got in, just this beautiful little dachshund. It was a little dachshund. And is there anything cuter than a little dachshund puppy? I look at Heidi, who has two, right? And they're just so cute. And this was Mom's dog, and he was kind of crying that day, weeping, and so she called him Wimpy, and that was his name, Wimpy, right? Cute, right? And he was a great dog, but he was Mom's dog, and he was a very protective dog. You did not mess with Wimpy, right? If you got next to Mom and he was there, you might get bit. So you had to watch out for Wimpy. Okay, so I grew up with dogs. Now, I got my own first dog when I was about, I think, 11. I had my eye on a St. Bernard. You remember this, Barbara? Yeah. And so I thought I had to have a St. Bernard puppy. And my parents indulged me because I was the youngest, I guess. I don't know. But they indulged me. And one day, it might have been my birthday even, they put me in the car and away we went on this drive. And I didn't know where we were going. Well, we ended up at a farm, which I guess was a breeder's kind of outside of Omaha, north Omaha there. And we went to this place, and there was a pen, and in it was like 5 or 6 or 7 bouncing, huge St. Bernard puppies. And I got to pick my very own one, and I took him home, and he was mine, and I named him Judd. And I don't know where that came from, but that was his name, and I loved that dog. And he wasn't the easiest dog to love, as dogs are, right? He made messes, and believe me, when he made a mess, you knew you had a mess, right? and he slobbers. Anybody ever have a St. Bernard? It goes like this, goes all the way. I loved that dog. He was really, I had chosen him, and I cared for him, and he was everything. Okay. One day in the summer, we went to vacation in Colorado to visit my grandmother where she lived. And so we took Judd to the Borders, the place where they would watch him for the week. And so we came back a week later, and my parents went to get him and came home without him. And they said, I have some bad news. We have some bad news for you, Mark. Judd is dead. He died a while ago. And I said, you got to be kidding me. What happened? And it turns out that the border had left him out in the summer in Omaha. It was a hot, hot week. And he had died of heat stroke. Sad way to treat a dog, right? It wasn't that that border didn't care, really. It's just that it wasn't his dog. And he treated him the way that I would have treated him. And I never forgave that vet. right? And that border. It's still, that person, the office at least, is still in town. And whenever I drive by it, I go by it twice a week. And every time I go by it, I just think, ooh, I don't like it, right? That person is dead and gone, right? But I don't know. Contrast that with dogs I've had as an adult. Now, Jill and I have had lots of dogs as a married couple. We've had as many as 4 dogs at once, which shows how crazy we are. One of the dogs that we had, we got from a breeder in Lubbock. She was a very protective breeder. She didn't want to give us this dog because this was like a show dog, but it was missing something. It was a Dalmatian, and not a black and white Dalmatian, but a brown and white Dalmatian. Kind of rare, kind of beautiful, but some of the marketing wasn't correct, so she was willing to sell the dog, but not just to anybody, right? She just didn't put an ad in the paper anyway. She was up. We had to almost interview to get this dog. That's how much she loved this dog. And this dog came into our family, and it was quite a beloved pet. I mean, I would go running with it. Have you ever had a Dalmatian, anybody here, or seen one? They're quite the athletes. They're like greyhounds, kind of in that way. They love to exercise and run, and so we live kind of out by the country, and I go running, and here'd be the dog with me, and I go walking, and here's well, anyway, she got liver disease and died a really kind of a horrible death. There was nothing they could do, no pills, no medicine could take away the liver disease. It was just a progressive death, and over the time she wasted away to almost nothing. And I knew that the end was near the day I took her for a run, and we got about halfway out, and I had to carry her home. And even though she had lost weight, she was still, but I carried her home. And so I knew it was time, and I waited as long as I could after that. And then one day, I knew I had to take her. And so we got up and we went, and I took her by Runza. I got her a hamburger. Fed it to her. And I took her to the veterinarian's office, and we went in, and we got on the table and put her there, and I held her in my arms, and I stroked her as I whispered her name. You know, it was Amber, 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 I love you. You're a good dog. Right? Has anybody ever had to do this? As the dog passes from life, right? And you're whispering their name, and you're crying, and you're thinking, I love you so very much. It's a relationship between us and the dog. It's not a job. Nobody paid me to take care of the dogs. It was my relationship. The one thing I had in common with the dogs, and they had in common with each other, was their nature, their doggedness, and me. I was the one who was connecting all of them through our lives. They were connected through me, and it's that way with Jesus Christ. See, I finally got to my point. Here it is. It's that way with Jesus Christ. Throughout the ages, throughout the world, we're all connected through our relationship with Jesus Christ. Right? Okay, don't get me wrong, we are not dogs. You are not dogs. But neither are you sheep. Right? The metaphor works to a point. We are beloved, chosen by Jesus, protected by Christ, saved by His power and love. Right? For no better reason than He loves us. It's that way. What matters is our relationship with Christ. Why did He do what He did? Why did He lay down His life for us, as He said in the text? Why? It wasn't so that He could be right with God. He was already right with God, right? For goodness sakes. It was so that we might know the love of God. So that we might know the voice of God. So that we might be beloved and led in this life. We are adopted children of God. Not pets. Adopted children of God. Through our relationship with Christ, connected to God now and forever. Okay. They did a survey and asked people to list their most favorite text in all of Scripture. You know what it was? Anybody? Huh? Psalm 23? Yeah. By a far, nothing else came close, right? By far, your favorite scripture in all, your favorite piece of all Scripture is Psalm 23. Why do you think that is? Huh? Comfort. I agree, right? Can we read it together? Page 5. Can you look at it with me? Let's go together intentionally. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He revives my soul and guides me along right pathways for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table before me in the presence of those who trouble me. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup is running over. Surely your goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is the unique relationship that we claim. This is the singular promise that we hold to. That our shepherd will not abandon us, but rather will hold us, guide us, love us, having chosen us. We have a good shepherd in this life. And I think the reason that this is the most beloved text of it is because of what it says about us, about Christ, and about God when we think of our time to pass from life to life. Because I think what it's saying is that when that moment comes for us, we can have every assurance that Christ himself will be holding us in his arms, whispering our name in our ear. I love you. I love you. He stands on the other side with those same arms wide open saying, "Welcome," as we enter into the kingdom for which we were created and to which we hope to attain through our relationship in Christ. What a master. What a relationship. What a